Alright, step one. With the Tamiya filler in, now I sand it back. I've still got to do that one. I've sanded that one, I've got to do that side yet. Then I spray some primer for a check. And then I can already see I need a touch more there. A bit there's a couple of like pinholes in the putty when I applied it. But this time round, I'm not using the putty again because I don't want to wait another 24 hours to get back to it. This time I'm going to just use some CA glue. Just apply it with a bit of, I've got a homemade little stick with a bit of wire. Just put it in, let that dry, and then I'll clean it up again, prime it again, and then F-16s are the worst in my opinion. Their intakes they're huge, but they're so narrow. So once that's together, then you got these seam lines you got to clean up, and they're really awkward to get at. Well, that's the nature of the aircraft. This one will be a bit easier. That one's easier because it's a larger opening, you can get at it better. But that is the process of cleaning up these nasty ejection pin marks. That's the decals have dried overnight and they've set in nicely. I just need to paint in the handles on the controls, and then it can go into the fuselage. So I've glued the rear intake trunking section together. I've added some of the parts for the main gear bay. That's moved. I have to it's moved since I glued. I have to put some more glue on it and straighten it up. Front intake, I've glued the halves together, put the front wheel bay in. This sits in there, but you can move it around, so it's really loose fit. So what I did is I just got the fuselage skin out and use that to line it up to know where it's going to sit, so it's sitting square. I've cleaned up the nozzle on the inside on the pedals. I've painted it up. I used Vallejo metal colour burnt iron. Later on I might put some oil paint in there to simulate that dirty brown colour they have in them, creamy brown colour. That's will go in there, and then in there I've put the Tamiya putty on those seams, so they'll dry overnight again before I can clean them up. On the skin, fuselage skin for the intake, there's E1, which is this side, and drill out a hole. So I've done that. I also got to put in that piece that goes down through the intake. I don't know if that's like a strengthening plate or what, or a splitter. I don't know what purpose it serves, but I'm not putting that in until I've cleaned that up properly, and it's once all that's, I'm happy with that, then I'll put that in. But usually when it goes through the bottom there, it's not a tight fit, so it'll need putty as well from previous experience. I've put the cockpit tub in. I've painted around the top of the cockpit there NATO black. Alright, I'm doing the I'm doing the Minnesota Air National Guard, the Bulldogs. It is a Block 25. So during the build, you'll come across areas that you need to modify or use specific parts. So D67, which is that piece, that's gone in. But on the Block 25, I got to fill that. There's nothing there at all, so I got to cover it up. So I'll use Tamiya white putty again. Apparently, they're showing here is a bring back down. It's supposed to be another panel behind the part you put in, but there's nothing there, so I don't know what the story is there. And also, where did I see the bottom of the fuselage? These two panels need to be covered up as well for the Block 25. Same again, I'll just use the Tamiya white putty and cover that in and sand it back.